What's up, everyone? It is your friendly neighborhood Dr. Doom. If you don't know me on here, I sell a decent amount on Whatnot. I mostly do diecast, obviously. I get a lot of people on my shows because I sell mostly wheel swaps asking, hey, how do you wheel swap stuff? So I figured I'd do a couple of videos and different methods I do for wheel swapping stuff. Today we're going to work on these two. We got the GR86 cup in the newer orange colorway as opposed to the blue Hot Wheels colorway. And then new for 2025, the Hako Type D. That's it. Yeah. It's a fantasy car, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of got a cyberpunk thing going. I like some fantasy cars. This one caught my eye. I think it looked cool wheel swapped. This method I'm going to show you today is the one I do the most of. It is basically you take a set of wheels. These are your basic, I buy mine in bulk from the manufacturers, but you can get the same ones on Amazon. Standard size axle. We're going to do the gold like JDM style ones for this. I think it makes sense. What we're going to do on this, I think a white, I have one set of TE37s left. So we're going to do that on this. This method I'm doing is, it's drill, tap, and screw. So you can take them back apart. I don't like to glue anything together. I don't like to glue my wheels in. This method works best for cars that are the common standard width of, I don't have my micrometer on me, do I? No, of course I don't. That would have made sense. I'm sure it's somewhere that I don't need a micrometer anywhere. But essentially, when you buy the wheels from Amazon, the axles are the same width as these cars. It's kind of like standard. Your older cars, or say like even this Miata, this works for. Let's say, see what I have here. I know I have something that fits what I'm saying. Okay, yeah. I was going to do this car, the RX-3, but it actually takes a slightly narrower axle, so they stick out, so you have to do a custom axle. I can show you to do that in another video. I don't have the right wheels for that one anyways. But this one, you're using standard axles, so you don't have to glue anything in. You can undo them anytime you want. Like this truck right here, if I don't like the wheels on it, just unscrew it, take it apart, swap them out. Like some of these don't even have wheels on them. They're just waiting for the right wheels to come. So we'll get started. Also show you a neat little thing. Like, I used to harvest wheels from premiums when I get them for like dirt cheap, and then I'd have all these bodies. Like this is a S4, yeah, Audi S4 Quattro. Still a cool car. So you can take them, and instead of going with, I don't know, say how it originally looked, you can remix it. So now, like, I have both these on my shelf, two versions. This is also cool if you're going to do your whole collection. If you get bored, you can always swap wheels between the two with this method. But enough of me ranting on and on and on. We'll do the cup car first, the GR86. I always start out with my baby food jar full of tool oil and a paintbrush. When you're working with these small sizes, you're working on tiny bits, tiny what is the word? I'm not editing this, by the way. Tiny taps. There we go. I want to say die. That's the other part of the process that doesn't work here. They can get galled up in the soft Zamac metal and will snap real fast. And a lot of times they will snap inside the post. So I always dab a little bit of oil on the post to start. Now, if you're going to be one of the people that buy your little drill, tap, die, and screw set off Amazon or like Shop 164, it'll come with this teeny tiny number 56 drill bit. I cut mine down short so it sticks out only this far. Any longer, they start wobbling and snap off easy. This also kind of limits how far I can go on some posts. This is still longer than what I used to run, but I needed a little bit more thread to really pull away all the schmutz. But I'll just take, see that little center divot inside there? I'm going to pre-drill that because we're going to try to pop off the cap. I don't go far, just a little bit. This is also a messy process, by the way. So yeah, just hit it a little bit with that. Now I use these hyper tough drills. They ain't nothing special. I wouldn't build a house with them, but they're 12 volt. They're $20 each, and I have one for every single step of the process, or something like it. From there, we go to the bigger drill bit. I believe this is a 1/8 drill bit. These last forever, as long as you get a good one. You're never going to snap these off doing this, so get a good one so it stays sharp. Still using the same little bit of oil that was on it. Just going to kind of line it up, center it, and let it grab till it snaps. And it'll take the top of the rivet off. That's what we want. That's a clean break. It can get ugly and messy. That's what we go for. Doesn't always happen both times, so I kind of start slow till it bites. Then once it bites, give it a little bit of beans. I took it off. I'm going to slice my finger open on camera if I try to get that off. But yeah, at this point, we're done with this until I go to do the other car. So from that point, both rivets are pretty clean. So we're going to come in, free it up. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of a catch, or maybe it's not perfect. I'll kind of go around it with a flathead and kind of bend it in if there's anything to bite on. If it's too big, which this one's barely there, I'll try to get in there with my side cuts, flush cutters. This one's like barely holding on. I think it's the body holding it back anyways. So kind of just gently rock it till it loosens up. And there we go, we're free. There's your base of the car. Most Hot Wheels nowadays are plastic. These are really easy to work with. Also really easy to mess up if you hand fist it. Take your interior out. If you're going to try and detail your interior for a personal custom or when you're doing for someone else, now's a good time to do it. I don't do that too much. For the rest of the process, you do want to pop your glass out. If you slip, you can ruin that glass real fast. Alright, you'll see on this, get close enough camera, it's not completely flush, especially this front one. So I'll do is I'll take my flush cutters and literally cut the excess off, kind of flatten out just a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's just enough to where we can, that little pre-drilling we did ahead of time, we can line it up and center it down and drill it home. Take my paintbrush with my little bit of oil, re-wet those posts, because at this point all the oil's gone. And we'll go back to the original number 56 drill bit. We'll center it up as best we can. And just keep it straight and drill it out. Now you want to be careful. Some cars, you won't have enough posts. You'll have a very short post. For example, I was doing one yesterday while watching my buddy's live stream on Whatnot. And I don't know if you can see it, but the screw now goes through the hood. So guess what? That is mine now. Luckily, stuff like this, the posts are pretty long, so I like to go as deep as I can without going through, just because that gives you more area to thread. Once the front one's done, we'll go through and do the back. Kind of shake all the crap out. We're done with that one now. Now we got our holes. We're going to set this aside. Take the base out. If you can see those little prongs in there that hold the axles down, I always try to start by cutting that one off and leaving the other two. I do that because I like these to kind of retain the axle a little bit if they can. Because I will, a lot of times, I sell on Whatnot. If you aren't here from Whatnot, this video is essentially just show some of my customers how I do this. Because I sell a lot of wheel swap cars on Whatnot. And if you're looking to find me there, same name, Doctor.Dooms.Diecast. But I like to remix these, or we'll do shows where I'll just have a bunch of cars that are sitting like this. You pick your car, they're already drilled and tapped, and then you pick your wheels and we build it live. So from that point, I left the top two, or the two prongs on each side, so that'll help retain the wheels a little bit. We're going to go with these white TE37s. Kind of set them in there. That's where it gets fidgety. Because those don't hold quite well enough to hold it in. But, well, the back one did, the front one didn't want to. So, like, when you're messing around putting stuff together, it'll come out. Now, if you're going to do this permanently for yourself, and you don't think you're ever going to want to swap stuff out, you can just put a dab of glue in the center there, right where those prongs are, let it dry, and you'll be good. I don't like to do things permanent. I like to be able to remix stuff. From this point, I'll just put the interior in. Not going to worry about the glass. We're just checking the look right now on the fitment. The interior helps hold the wheels in there when you get the body on. And there we go. So yeah. Went from that to that. Now if you want to lower it, you can lower it. This will kind of lower itself a little bit when it sits. But when you hang it, there's a little bit of play in the wheels there, but it still rolls. I don't want to lower it anymore. It'll lower itself under its own weight. There's a fine line between having them look cool and having them not roll. I, for personal preference, don't care if they roll or not. I want them to look cool first and foremost. Some people like them to roll. Which you can make real low ones roll by other processes, but that's not what this video is about. Now we're going to cut threads. There is 3 ways to go about this. The way I do it is not the way you should probably do it when you start out. One way is these little 256 screws. This is what I use. I use Phillips head. They do have machine button heads. I now get self-tapping ones, so you can technically screw these in by hand, and they'll cut its own threads. I get the self-tapping ones because they help clean out threads. What I do is I take, now this isn't the Hyper Tough, this is a gifted Warrior from Harbor Freight. I got my tap on here, I got oil in here. Do not do this your first time. You can drive it way too far, strip it out, or snap it. But just take it in slow. And I take it till I can feel resistance, and I back it off. It's a feeling thing. You definitely don't want to do it this way your first few hundred times. But I literally do about 100 of these a week. So I've gotten somewhat to touchdown. I still mess up. Not gonna say I'm perfect, but for your first ones, don't do it that way. I don't want to see you guys get discouraged. Okay, now we're at the point where we can put it together. Put the interior in. This is just, like I said, this process. If you decide down the road you don't like these wheels, you think, man, a black wheel would go good on that. It's 2 screws and a different set of wheels and you're set. Another thing I just recently started doing because I was doing these live, I get a little screw gun with a number, I think it's a number 1 Makita bit, and it'll hold the screws in magnetically. And I drive them in. I got the clutch set on this to the lightest setting to where like it won't go too hard, and it's only like a 4-volt tool. There you go, all done. I guess that doesn't really show you anything. There you go, see? Still rolls. Heck yeah. And like I said, remove 2 screws, nothing's glued together, nothing's permanent. You can put whatever wheels you want in down the road. Even one thing I do a lot of is I save all the cool plastic wheels, and I'll do, sometimes I get bored and I won't have the wheels I want, but I like a pair of plastic ones, and I'll throw plastic wheels on. Oh yeah, did that with this Koenigsegg Jesko, just because I couldn't find wheels I liked on it, and I'm like, screw it, white wheels. Couldn't find wheels I liked for the Cyber Quad, so guess what? We got those. Still don't know how I feel about that, but I don't really like the casting anyways. I just got it. So, now, let's do the fantasy car, the Hako Type D. We'll do the same way. I'll try and go a little faster, talking less on this one, so you guys are going to see, once you get it down, how fast it can be. I'll still talk because I got to run my mouth. Once you get this down, you can really pump these out. Most of my time is spent trying to decide what wheels I want to put on it. Oh, there we go. Forgot to take that hunk of steel, or not steel, Zamac off there, so that'll slow me down. That one didn't go as clean as I wanted. Either that one. Sometimes the casting just won't let you do it. But nothing's ruined. You can see I got a little bit of that rivet head left in there. Just kind of get in there with a screwdriver, kind of curl it in, pry it in. It'll eventually snap off, or at least get small enough to where you can get the body over it, and then we'll cut it off. I used to do this all in my hand until I was doing a really cheap Maisto, or not Maisto, one of the Adventure Force by, yeah, that was a Maisto. And the drill bit slipped and went right through the glass, and I drilled into my hand, so I now put it down on a surface and try to get one that's not marring. Sometimes you're doing more expensive cars that you don't have multiples of. You kind of don't want to fart it up and spend all this time working on this car, and then it's trash anyways because you scratch the top. This painting's a whole different subject. I'm not anywhere near ready to teach anyone how to paint something. I just got my cheap airbrush and I used it once. I'm like, I don't like this, so I just haven't touched it. But let's explore this casting. Pretty nothing really interesting and cool in there in the interior besides your little nitrous bottles. Got a nice race seat in there. That'd be a good one to paint up. Or if you're going to harvest race seats for something, this would be a good casting to get the race seats from. I 3D print a bunch of little race seats. Haven't actually used any yet, but I got them. Glass, it's got the little, I don't know if that's supposed to look like louvers or just like your heater lines, but it's textured on the inside. Kind of cool. Like I said, I like this casting. nothing wrong with a cool fantasy car every once in a while, besides if we don't buy them up, the stores won't put new stuff on the pegs. And then it gets boring. At least around me, they won't. Re-oil. And clean the threads out of that real quick with my finger. Now we're going to drill our pilot hole for tapping. That back post is huge. I don't think I could ever get through that. I think the drill bit would snap before I got all the way down to there. And this front one, I can't go all the way in. But I can get pretty close. Now, what I will say on trucks that have the exposed bed, you got that little tab that your post is underneath that little piece of metal right there. You cannot tap a truck bed without going all the way through. So just don't worry, you're going to do it. Just get a short screw, maybe hit the little black marker or paint pen to hide it, the tip. You're going to go through. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's accepted. Everyone knows it. Wrong drill. So, I'm going to oil this one back up because I've been handling it a lot. Like I said, do this by hand at first until you get the feeling. This one I was able to go deep in, so I can take it a little further. Now, one thing about doing it this way, you might not always snap the tap off, but what you will do is you'll bottom it out and then rip those threads right out. And then if you got a shorter post that you're already down to the bottom in, you're screwed. You're done. You're going to have to glue it together if you want to save it, because it won't hold. I'm going to go again by taking just that back prong off. See if we can pop the wheels off. There we go. There we go. Save all my stock wheels. The ugly ones, get the axles cut out so I can use them for axles when I do custom axle stuff. And I just got a pretzel, like plastic pretzel thing full of freaking ugly wheels that I'll probably use for like a resin project down the road. I don't know. I'll probably get sick of looking at them and throwing them away, to be honest. But, you know, when you collect things as a hobby, it gets pretty easy to go overboard and just collect all the things pertaining to it, for better or worse. Alright, there's that one done. Don't know how I feel about that one. Don't know how I like the wheels. Might want to go a little bit bigger on wheels. These are like 10 millimeter, might want to go 11. But that's the beauty of this process. It's 2 screws and I can swap them out. 2 screws, swap them out, try something different. Your wheels aren't ruined. They're good to fit into another car, and the car's not stuck with those wheels. That's why I don't like to use glue on stuff anymore. I used to do custom 3-piece axles, which I still do on some stuff because I have to. I'll get the tubing, and I'll make custom axle tubes, grind little slots in them, put the axles in, and dabs of glue in there so they hold in. But then you're stuck with that. Like at this point, I'd be like, okay, if I don't like this, I'm screwed with it. But I do like it. It's different. I might lower it a little bit. I don't know. That's another video. But like I was saying with these, say you got a body that you harvested wheels off of. I already drilled and tapped this one. A lot of times, it's like in my shows, I'll have what I call the junkyard, which is just a bunch of drill and tapped bodies that have no wheels because I harvested the wheels from. I'll sell them for dirt cheap. But this, I don't think I have so many of this casting that I'm not really worried about doing anything cool with. So, just as a show of what you can do, I did have a set of stock wheels, just plastic, like BBS, gray looking BBS wheels. And this is a premium car. So you got the metal base. I just set them in there. Boom. Still looks cool. You get a usable car out of it. You can give these to your kids since they don't care about rail riders. These actually roll better on tracks. This is if you ever see people building cars to go fast on tracks, they'll put faster than ever wheels on it, but they'll take cars that have metal base bottoms or a variant of that car that does and use that base and put plastic wheels on it. Because then you're getting all the weight that you need with the metal on metal, but the plastic wheels roll better. So you can always do that with them too. Like I said, that still looks cool. Does it look as cool as that one? Probably not. Still looks pretty cool though. And you didn't waste something. Like any kid would be stoked on that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now from there, you just clean up your junk and on to the next one. Thanks for watching, if you did. If you enjoyed it, obviously hit the like. Not gonna lie, if I get a few subscriptions, I will probably continue doing more than just this on here. I kind of did this just so show my Whatnot customers that asked, hey, how do you do this? How it's done. So, feel free to stop back.